Welcome back to another episode of our Pinnacle Fraudcast. It is all part of our Effective Advice series. I'm Courtney Tice, a financial advisor here at Pinnacle, and I'm also here today with one of our experts, Amelia Odell. She is our Treasury Management Advisor here with Pinnacle. So welcome, Amelia.
Thank you.
I want to talk to you a little bit this morning about what your clients ask you most about fraud.
It's a broad scale, but I think fraud has been so rampant that now the conversations are leading more into how do I protect myself? What can I do? I'm so concerned about AI, business email compromise, things of that nature. The latter two have really become the prominent. Yeah.
So when they ask you, like, what can you advise me about AI and how to continue to protect my company and my employees? What's some of maybe your 3 pieces of advice that you give them?
I would say, first of all, focus and shop, because what they're coming after is going to be your information and your money, right? So
Fair.
if they're coming after your information, make sure you understand your processes, how your team's physically handling it, consistently review it, and above all, education. Because in the AI world, I know that they have the opportunity, again, to hit you by email, have the opportunity to hit you by voice. And it's our understanding, or what we've heard, is that it can take only 3 seconds of a recorded voice in order to sound just like someone calling in, one of your vendors calling in to modify payables, like they change their bank, whatever. So it's literally educating your staff on what's out there, and more so where to go and how to protect yourself, and that's going to be in your system of record. So if you have someone calling regarding a receivable, regarding a payable, you need to go back into your system, completely ignore the email, don't use any information in it whatsoever, don't use any information from a voice message left, go straight back into your system of record, and then pursue it and verify it. So, yeah.
I love how you said that, because if you think about ignore the email that you got and go back into your system of record, a lot of times if you respond to that email and it is fraudulent, that email is only off by like 1 letter, 1 number, whatever it may be, as well as the phone number. It's the easy thing to do is to look at that email and grab that phone number and call your client back.
Right.
But that's where you're going to get in trouble. Go
Yes.
back into your system of record where you have the legitimate information on your client or your vendor.
Right.
And as a banker, I hear so much of the time, like, clients are like, I'm afraid of AI. I'm afraid of ChatGPT or whatever source of AI that it may be. And I don't want people to be afraid of it, but I want them to be educated on it, and I want them to continue in our businesses that we work with to continue to educate their employees, but educate themselves as well. What are some other ways that you would tell them to educate themselves on all things AI?
I would say there's a lot of classes out there. I know, for example, those with continuing education situations. There are webinars. The FBI there's a lot of websites that you can go to educate yourself and how to protect yourself. But again, I think if you have a consistent educational path for your team, if you have a consistent process and they're adhering to it, test them. Go back in and test them. I'll also add, a while ago you mentioned, that you can be off, like they can take a number 1 out of an email address and put an L there for whatever. That they're now even avoiding that. They're coming in, so the scammers are getting better and better and better. And so we're now seeing it come in straight, looks identical. There's nothing modified in the email whatsoever. So if you have a constant process where you're protecting yourselves and your team, more importantly, I think we had spoken earlier that 95% of the cyber attacks, their avenue of success is going to be through an employee. So that by itself is the key thing to make sure that you've got is that education, that same step, have all your dual controls in place, and make sure your system of record is updated. So yeah.
Absolutely. How can you jump like to the middle of an email thread, and all of a sudden a fraudster, a cyber attack can happen right midstream in an email, like with the banker and the client, or with the client and a vendor, that all of a sudden, you've had this perfect stream that is totally legit for a business owner. And then the fraudster injects himself right in the middle of the email stream. That's where they're getting more and more elaborate with these scams. What would you suggest, even on email streams, that clients do to protect themselves throughout that stream of emails with a known vendor or a known client?
Well, again, they're trying to get your information. Excuse me. They're trying to get information, or they're trying to move money out of your account, right?
Right.
In some way, they're trying to damage you. So you've got to block those two avenues. And as we said earlier, you have to stay away from, if you, red flag, red flag, red flag. If you see someone attempting to extract information, even though you've been in the middle of the email, whatever, you're going to have to go back and go old school. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you do. You're going to have a process where your employees identify the flags. If you see someone urgently saying, oh, I need this, I need that, there's another flag.
Know your client.
Know your client. You have got to know them. I mean, literally. And so you pick up the phone and you call them. To the degree, I think I'd shared with you as well, that I have a client that we work very closely with, does a lot of wire transfers. So you can imagine they have a huge vendor base. And they literally will, we have a code word set up. So if I see any email come through, I know this client so well that I simply go into my system of record, pick up the phone, call, did you do this? Yes, I did. Okay, what's our code? And there is one code that we've established that's nowhere in the email chains anywhere. So, and it's just something silly that we made up between us that wouldn't be there. And so now I know. Yeah.
Exactly. And you can't record those secret passwords or what that code is between you anywhere in your computer, anywhere in your text. It needs to be like a phone call between the two of you guys, or when you're in person. And I think knowing your client is a huge, huge part of this. And as a financial advisor with a book of business of business owners, knowing how my client emails me and what they would say in those emails, or what they would say even online, is super important. I had a situation that a client emailed me and said, hey, I'm in a conference. I don't need to be bothered, but I need you to send this wire to this individual. The CFO, which he had actually emailed as well, has also approved this. And they knew that I would always call the owner of the company to verify everything. And I knew in my heart, I knew that it was fraud, because he would never say to me, do not bother me.
Exactly.
And so I really push clients, know your vendors, know your clients, know who you're doing business with and how they would talk to you in the form of an email. AI does compromise that some, but also, as you said, go back old school, pick up that phone, call them with that known number that you have.
And I would also recommend that the client, the business owner, the CFO, whomever, your staff shares their cell phone number. Share your cell phone, because if it's an urgent situation where you do have to verify something, you do see urgency in the email, you heard urgency in the voice message left for you, but you're questioning it. You're like, it's got some heat to it. Where's my flag? It's urgency, right?
Absolutely.
So if I have got their cell phone numbers and I've got the ability to reach out to them and grab them quickly, then I'm good to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd like to take time to thank you, Amelia Odell, as our treasury expert today, for taking time to basically share your expertise with us. If you guys need more information on anything related to your accounts and how to protect yourself from fraud, any type of scams, reach out to your treasury advisor at Pinnacle, or your financial advisor that's your banker at Pinnacle as well. Thank you guys for joining us today. For more information on scams, please go to our website, pnfp.com/fraud.